Hello and welcome to Tools for a Peaceful Life. I'm Sue Pine, and usually you'll see a second person here watching or um, sitting along with me to share some of their tools for a peaceful life. But we did that yesterday. We had Ted Cahill, the author of You versus You, as our special guest. If you missed the interview, go back and find the replay. It is so worth watching. He shares some really great stuff with us. But for those of you that normally tune in at 3 o'clock today, I didn't want to go and not have something here. So thanks for being here to watch live. And thanks to any of you that are catching the replay. Please let us know what that you're watching or that you're watching the replay. So today, I'm kind of putting myself in that seat that normally I ask questions of. You know, I always get that little advantage of being able to ask the questions and not have to answer them. So today, I'd like to tell you a little bit about my journey to a peaceful life and a few of the things I learned along the way. Um, you know, I'm not going to go into the negative parts. Life has not always been a simple journey. There's always been a lot of adversity, and everybody has it. You know, we all deal with it in our own ways. I was never very good at dealing with adversity when I was younger, and it caused a lot of issues. But thanks be to God, you know, my Creator helps me find the answer, and I just want to share with you a little bit how, and maybe it'll be helpful to you. Maybe it'll be helpful to someone you know and love. Please feel free to share it if it is. So, you know, I was a small child, and like I said, I didn't handle adversity very well. I didn't handle being the weird kid because I was the weird kid. I've known all my life I don't think like other people, and today I'm very appreciative of that because I've learned things I don't think I'd ever learn otherwise. But I used to go out of my way to either try to fit in or try to be invisible. And that's a pretty big contradiction. I didn't feel accepted very often. I don't really remember feeling accepted most of the time as a child. And so I turned to things to get my comfort from other places. As a little kid, I remember sneaking cookies from the cookie jar because, you know, it was fun to eat things like that. And it was comfortable to eat things like that. It wasn't healthy, but, you know, that's the way I felt, loved and comfortable. And so that's what I did. And then it went from maybe one cookie, you know, here and there, to kind of eating more and more, doing those kind of things, finding that, you know, originally being a chubby little kid, you know, I got made fun of for that anyway, but I noticed that the bigger I got, the less people paid attention to me. So after a while, the eating became a shield, a barrier, a protection. You know, people didn't want to talk to me. That kind of made me feel good. But I was still missing the comfort that I wanted. You know, sometimes when you're growing up in a household, you have everything you need in the way of physical needs, because we were very well provided for as children in my family. But there may be things that you're missing. You know, maybe the emotional support. Maybe it's just, you know, your parents, they don't necessarily think the way other parents do either. And so we kind of grew up just isolated. I remember that when my parents would come home, it was watch TV, be quiet, kids should be seen but not heard, you know, that kind of stuff. And Ozzie and Harriet, I'm dating myself, Donna Reed, you know, those kind of shows, well, that's how we were supposed to look. So that doesn't really work if you have to be constantly covering it up. over the years, I tried other things besides, you know, just what I was doing then. I rebelled. Did all the things teenagers tend to do, and moved out at a young age. I don't even want to go into all the things that got me to where I am today, but I ended up probably at one of the lowest points of my life, um, just morbidly obese, and really not thinking I was going to make it much longer. I was turning 50 years old, and my future didn't look good. My doctor was giving me medications for everything you can imagine and every symptom that the new medication caused. And at some point, I don't know exactly what the trigger was, but I am so grateful for it. A switch turned in my head and said, hey, wait a minute. This isn't how life is supposed to be. If you want to get off of this downward spiral, then it's time to do something. And I did. I relied on my Creator, as I always did, because He had gotten us through everything so far. I had 2 sons that I was raising on my own, very limited income, no family support. It wasn't real easy, but God provided everything I needed. We never went without basic needs. No frills, but never went without basic needs. So I guess with all that said, what are some of the tools I use to get to where I am today? One tool for a peaceful life, I believe, is you take ownership. We all have baggage. We all grow up in different ways. Some of us are maybe living in a more isolated existence. Some of us are on display 24/7, super sports, super academics, be the superstar. The expectations are so high. Everyone carries their own baggage. Their lives might look good. We don't know what's going on inside that head. We don't know what's going on inside that heart. What we do know is that it's not up to us to judge. So we take ownership of our own life, and we let go of everything around us, everything that's out of our control. I think those were the 2 key things for me, was stop judging. And when you stop judging, you also stop comparing yourself to others. And then take responsibility for your actions. Very important. As I learned to do these things, life got better. I joined a gym. Boy, was that interesting, because I didn't even do phys ed as a kid. I had every excuse in the book not to be moving, and I learned some things there. I lost a considerable amount of weight. In fact, I was, this is kind of a little aside, but this is how it works when you're trying to find your journey, when you're trying to find your path. I did a little calculation recently of the major diet plans I'd been on, because, I tried all kinds of really weird things. If you remember, if you're old enough, or maybe you read about it in the history books, there was a fad of pre-digested protein where you drink this glop. I even tried that for 60 days, lost 66 pounds, for a month or 2. But I figured that over time, adding up just the major diets, not the little things, I have lost over 1,650 pounds. That's a lot of pounds. At my highest weight, because I always regained, and I always regained a little more than I lost, I weighed probably a good size male adult more than what I weigh right now. And I'm grateful for that, because it taught me a lot of things. It taught me to be more mindful. It taught me that you just can't expect those overnight successes. That doesn't work. You have to pick your path and you have to stick to it. Doesn't matter what your goal is, pardon me, but it does matter that whatever your goal is, whatever your path is, you stay present, you stay focused, and you do it one step at a time. Over the years, I learned to quit saying that I was losing weight because when you lose something, you eventually find it. And I was doing that. I was finding it and more. I learned that emotional baggage got in the way of shedding this excess that I was trying to get rid of. And I was fortunate enough to find the emotion code and the body code, two healing modalities that were developed by Dr. Bradley Nelson that helped me get rid of the excess baggage that was causing me to hold on to things. I learned to love myself, to accept myself, and to only compare myself to the person I was yesterday. You may remember another dating thing, but back in the day when Saturday Night Live was pretty active, Stuart Smalley was this guy that would come on and do all these daily affirmations, and people would laugh at him, and he would always say, I love myself, I accept myself, I'm perfect the way I am. Well, you know what? He was right. He was right. We need to do those things to become the person we need to be. I found other tools along the way that helped a lot. I found mindfulness thanks to yoga. I found meditation. I rediscovered the joy of reading and learning self-improvement. I enjoy self-care when I never thought I was worthy before. I've learned a lot of things. I learned in the pandemic to take charge, get it back. At the beginning of the pandemic, I was kind of out of control again. But being isolated helped me. It helped me to come back. It helped me to refocus, got me back on track. I learned about these great superfoods. If you ever want to know any of these details about, what I'm using, how to get them, that kind of stuff, I'm not going to go into that here because that's not what this is about. But they have also helped me maintain my energy, up my metabolism. I can't tell you the last time I've had this much energy and my metabolism has been this cooperative. But I'm very thankful. So when I do interviews, I always ask my guest, what would you recommend if you were asked for one thing to offer our viewers for a more peaceful life? So asking myself the same question. There's so many things I'd like to recommend, but the most important thing, I think, is for you to find your purpose, find the reason you were put here on earth, make a connection with your Creator. Whatever you believe it fully with your heart. I'm a Christ follower. I believe that fully with my heart. And I know without that, I wouldn't be where I am today. So find your belief, live your belief. By doing so, you'll find your purpose and you'll find your joy. Thank you so much for being with me here today. Thank you to our live viewers and our replay viewers. And I enjoyed speaking with you. If you'd like more information about anything we talked about or have any comments, please reach out. I'd love to hear from you. And we'll talk to you again next week on Tools for a Peaceful Life.